Good evening. Wherever you're listening from, wherever you're watching rather from around the world and the Eastern Caribbean, this is a special edition of Mek Wi Talk Transport. I am Jeffrey Tavares, the poor people defender and the defender of the bus and taxi operators. We're going to discuss this evening, why is it the government hell-bent in saying that the taxi operators must get child seats put in their cars? The question must be asked this evening. Why did the government insist that taxi and bus operators must get car seat for children? Is it that somebody in government has a container at the wharf full of car seats, child seats to put in cars? That's what they call them. The question must be asked this evening. Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Minister of Transport Audley Fitzgerald Shaw, come and tell the nation, you and the Prime Minister, who has a container at the wharf full of car seats? In other words, full of pitney seat to sit in a car. Why you hell-bent in making the poor pauperizing bus and taxi operators because spend money this evening to put in car seats in their car for children? That is the question we're asking this evening, Mr. Prime Minister. And for far too long, successful government continue milking the bus and taxi operators of this country. It's a milking tree. And because it is a milking tree, they continue to milk and continue to milk. Which minister of government has a container at the wharf full of car seats? Children car seats. We need some answers from the government of Jamaica. You think I don't know what's going on in this country? A Tavares, my name, you know. You think I don't know what's going on in this country? By the way, I hear some bangarang that going on in the Labour Party camp. One threatened to back someone. Appear bangarang that one. Bangarang here and bangarang there. This evening we're going to discuss what is going on in the transport sector. I see where we have the president of the Transport Development Sustainable Services, Edgerton Newman, on. We're supposed to have Mr. Finnegan. Yes, Mr. Finnegan is on. Gentlemen, welcome to the Mek Wi Talk program, and I have my good friend Steve King Hessin. Welcome to the Mek Wi Talk program.
Thank you for having me, my brother.
Good afternoon or good evening, Mr. Edgerton Newman. Put on your camera. The girls, they want to see you.
Not too sure I'm in a position to put on my camera.
Oh Lord, what kind of position are you in, sir?
You put it, take me as I am.
Just as I am without one plea, not thy blood was shed for me, O Lamb of God, I come to thee. Mr. Finnegan.
Good night, Sir Tavares.
Good night to you, sir. Your views on what the Prime Minister said in his speech on the lawns of Jamaica House, that they're going to amend the new Road Traffic Act because of the whole car seat issue. But the question must be asked tonight, though. Which member of government has a container at the wharf full of car seats that they intend to sell to the poor pauperizing bus and taxi drivers of this country. The question, Mr. Finnegan, what is your views on the whole speech that the Prime Minister gives up?
Well, I just want to start by saying a pleasant night to all the members of the panel tonight, and a pleasant night to your listenership in the wider society and overseas.
Thank you.
We are the One Voice Transportation Group. We support any measures at all that the government will come with that is for safety on our roads, that would have extended to safety with our commuters, the citizens of this country, especially the pedestrian, and to some extent, our operators. However, we are very skeptical as it is right now with the announcement by the Prime Minister that they are going to be looking into the issue of the child seat as it relates to the Road Traffic Act. And the reason why we are skeptical is because from the 15th, the 16th of November, 2022, until the 11th of January, 2023, we have been getting a number of press releases and public announcements from ministers of government. And every time we in the public transportation sector hear these press releases or announcements from government, even announcements coming from parliament, we act upon them and only to find ourselves at the mercies of the court. And when I make mention of the mercies of the court, it is not anything that is good happen to our operators when they go there. And so we in the public transportation sector are very weary when we get these announcements and press releases from the government of Jamaica. And so while we would believe that the announcement by the Prime Minister is a step in the right direction, we will take it as gospel or as law when we see it this time passed in the House of Parliament and gazetted. None of these press releases.
Mr. Finnegan? We have lost Mr.
Announcement has not been true as far as we are concerned. When we them and go to the court,
Mr. Finnegan, I'm losing you. We're speaking to Mr. Finnegan.
different thing is that is not a bill. It was just a proposal that was being read in Parliament. And it was not until we go to the court on the 17th and the 18th of December, we understand that the court does not operate by press releases and announcements. The court operates by law and gazette. And so my word, we were tricked in believing the government that if we go to court and pay our fine before the 31st of January 2023, we would not lose our license.
Yes.
Well, it is there. All who run to the court to catch a deadline and accumulate more than 12 demerit points, pay the fine, they lose their license. We were told by a press release coming from the office of the Prime Minister that the tickets before 2018 would be null and void. However, our operators were still being taken to court. And when you go to court, there are some Hope students that would have searched for your tickets. And when they find it, you are brought before the judge. So it is on that basis, Mr. Tavares, that we are waiting on this announcement from the government to see it pass into law before we believe it. The other thing that came out yesterday is that ACP Mackenzie make a public statement that the police will be used their discretion as it relates to the child seat. Now, we all know what is the discretion of the police. And I can't see how I'll act like this that in no shape or form Jamaican, the citizen, the country of Jamaica is ready for such act. And we are told now that we are going to be left at the mercy and the discretion of the police until the road safety unit meet on the 9th of February, until the government goes back to parliament and make the necessary changes that they plan to make. So there are two things we don't accept. The one that we are leave at the discretion of the police. What we think should happen is that since the government realized that some action need to be taken where that act is concerned, it could have been a public statement, one carried out through the force order within the Jamaica Constabulary Force, publicly making to the media houses that the police are instructed to put a hold on the writing of those tickets until further notice. But what we got yesterday is that the police are going to be using their discretion. Now, that discretion is a discretion that we in the public transportation sector is very much afraid of.
Mr. Newman from the Transport Development Sustainable Services. Mr. Newman, your views on what the Prime Minister said yesterday, sir? Mr. Edgerton Newman?
Thank you very much for having me, Mr. Tavares. And let me just indicate that I have to be in and out because of certain commitments I have in a few minutes from now. But sufficing to say, sir, my review of the whole thing, I think the Prime Minister has done the honorable thing than to return that piece of legislation or law, if you will, to the committee that draft the Road Traffic Act, or that assisting draft in the Road Traffic Act. After agitation, of course, I know I've made my agitation over the past 3 days, and I'm happy, very, very happy that the Prime Minister, Cabinet has sat down and looked at it for an hour and a half, came out, although birds sing above their head, maybe in the wrong way, I don't know. And they have decided to put that on hold. And I've advised the police high command to use their discretion as ought to be until the 9th of February, when the matter will be reviewed by the Road Safety Council, to which I'm a member. At that time, of course, the decision will be taken, hopefully, to remove that clause and allow the public transport sector not to use a child restraint seat. So we wait until the 9th. It could be otherwise, but because of the agitation of the public transport sector, we got that brief just now with the discretion of the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Christopher, go ahead, sir.
Night, sir. Night, Mr. Newman.
Good night, my brother.
I hear mention something earlier about the Prime Minister do a honorable thing, right? But my question to you, sir, is right? How from now until the 9th, how much of our transport personnel, you see, operators, would you think the police will be taking in from now until how long it is now? From now, check the days, right? Because if we are going to say he's going to say 9 days from now, which is this, right? Until they meet. You don't think if it was urgent, the same way he moved out of Parliament to be able to come on a press conference, he could have also done the honorable thing and stay overnight like what they did the last time, because them spend hours and hours to pass this type of road traffic in hours in the night. So if the citizens of this country is basically suffering in this manner, and if it is so urgent, why is it that he never see it as urgent as it is, and not to put it to 9 days, which I understand why the 9 days is, it's a 9-day wonder. That is what I know what politicians always refer to, things when they know they are not going to do it. So let me be frank with you, and be straight with you, sir. Even though the Prime Minister himself come and say this, we are not going to buy that, in this transport sector, to be clear and to be frank, we are not going to buy it because we have seen means and ways when things are urgent, they get at it and then get it done in quick of seconds, even if it's hours and night at Parliament to make sure that it is passed, right? Why is it that if this is so important to the country or something like this which is so important, why is it that them can't see as important as to say they're going to wait until? I think, Mr. Newman, as a person that we see from a very long, long time in the transport sector, I am not impressed with the representation. And I'm not saying you don't try, but me personally, I'm not satisfied with the true representation of this transport sector. So
Christopher, what you're saying, Christopher, can Christopher, hold a minute from Mr. Newman. Christopher, what you're saying to us at the moment that you do not appreciate what Mr. Newman said a while ago, that he endorsed what the Prime Minister said?
No, straightforward. I am not impressed with that. Because as I said earlier on, when this law, when they were passing this law, as they were getting things done, them stay hours and night in cabinet, hours and night, and it was passed then. So if this is so important to our citizens of this country, especially the investor also, which contribute so much in this sector, why is it that if never see it fit, if you don't eat no Sunday dinner, don't drink no soup, which is Saturday, and to say, okay, then let me
then
put this.
Uno believe the Prime Minister drink soup in the mansion we had it. Anyway, Mr. Newman, what is your views on what the man said a while ago?
Well, first of all, Mr. Tavares, I have been here long enough on this earth to understand how government operates. The seatbelt, the restrained seat situation is not important to government. I think election is more important to them and many other things, not something that concerns taximan and busman. And I make no apology for that. If it was important to them, they could have, just draw the pen and have it erased. Now, what the Prime Minister have said, I took it with respect and I await 9 days. The police, as my friend Mr. Finnegan note, that the judge in a court, hold for me, Mr. Tavares, the judge, nobody can overrule the judge, all right? The judge can make a decision in the same way. The constable have the right to do certain things. The Prime Minister asks the constable to use his judgment, right? And we all know what that means. If the constable prosecutes somebody, the law is very clear. 20 years ago, the law was there. Today, they decided to make the changes. That law was overlooked for 20 years by successive governments. I am happy that that piece of law is going back to the committee that creates that piece of law, and it will be changed. My faith tells me that it must change come the 9th.
The Bible says, hold on a minute.
Hold on there, Mr. Newman. Just
hold on, Mr. Christopher, hold on a minute.
Yes.
You have faith in government, Mr. Newman?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
I do.
So hold on here now. The same government that tell you no, so they not give no amnesty. And they have faith in that?
No, they did not tell us that. That is wrong. The government,
what did they tell us?
I asked for amnesty. My writings, my petition from the transport sector asked for amnesty. We did not get that. I don't know what to get up until now. Don't know. But one thing I know we got from government was a preview of all those outstanding tickets from 2018 and beyond. We got that.
Let me ask you a question now, Mr. Newman. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that the government of the day should have written off these tickets and call it a day?
Absolutely, absolutely, sir.
Okay.
The government have messed themselves up, and they are putting system that could not work, and they should do the honorable thing and write off all those tickets.
Mr. Newman.
Hold on. So let me find out something from you now, Mr. Newman.
Yes.
When you all went into the parliament, I want to meet with Justice Minister Delroy Chuck and who's I want to meet with.
Yes.
Did you all tell the ministers themselves, listen to me, the system that you people have has a glitch in it from Wappy killed Philip and Philip dead? Long time.
At all occasions, we remind them of that. At my final meetings with various government ministers, we remind them that they are the one that caused not just glitches in systems, but the condition, the environment in which we operate is a shame and a disgrace. We put that to them. They pretty up things and give back to us. Right? They did not promise us nothing.
Mr. Newman.
They must write and rewrite and come back, and they will make sure the announcement.
But Mr.
And
Newman,
the announcement they made is what we got.
With all due respect, sir, people may say you're talking out the two sides of your mouth.
Well, sometimes we have to, because right now we're talking from four sides of our mouth, top, bottom, and two sides. All of us. I work overnight, and government give us what they feel like giving us. But I am not going to cost them and kill them for it.
Why?
Because I can't.
What do you mean
it's impossible. If I could, all of us would have done that already. But what we want, what all of us, listen to me now. I am not one of those persons who are going to say what I don't believe. I am telling you what we asked for and what we got and the road ahead. And that is why we are calling everybody to the table tomorrow for the operators themselves to tell the government in face that he messed up and must change. What many people want me to do? Oh, Mr. Newman, call a strike. Strike don't solve problems. Strike is a band-aid on a sore, and sometimes that band-aid bursts and something come out.
What come out of
Strike should be strike should be the last tool in the toolbox. And we should consult, agitate, and the last thing we do, when we all unite, we then demonstrate we have one big thing. But we haven't done that yet. We haven't gone through the process yet.
All right, we have some more people need to get way into this. Mr. Christopher, hold on a minute. Mr. Steve Hessin, you're a veteran in this transport sector here. What is your views on what the Prime Minister, Mr. Hessin? Steve, are you there?
Yeah, yes, Jeff.
Go ahead.
My view on it that all the president them don't have no backbone. You see, everybody look favor in the government side. So nobody is not willing to go there and tell the government what you guys doing is crap. The government fail us and them fail us most miserable. A lot of people will pay a ticket, and because them throw away a ticket, it come back to haunt them where them have to repay 2 and 3 times. And nobody cares about the poor pauperized taximan and busman them. Everybody looking for a paid day. Everybody looking to say, okay, if I stand up good in the transport authority side or I stand up in the minister side, minister might be give me a brown paper bag time to come and say, go and eat something. So it is so hard for us to really get up and say what we're going to do. But I believe the best thing we're supposed to do at this present moment now, taximan and busman stop carry parents with the kids. So when we stop carry them, if parents strike, or when them strike, then we go to them assistant. Because if from Negrib Pine to Moran Pine strike, then taximan go and assist them to work out the problem. The government will hear us. But at this present moment now, if one vice get up and say they want a strike, Tad's going to say no, them not into it. Jatu say no. And then all the route taxi them maybe say no. So it's like a tug and war. So I believe let the people them cry out at this present moment. When the people them cry out, the government will hear. The government hear one or two people cry out about the kids them cannot go to school. So the government said them going to look back on that piece of paper what them sign. And if the people then really stand up and come out, then the government will listen. But you know, we as taxi person, it's hard to deal with because one hand going to say strike, the next one say no strike. So let the people them cry out. When the people them cry out, the government will hear them. Thanks.
Mr. Jackson, you have something to say, sir? Mr. Jackson? Mr. Newman, are you gonna, Mr. Finnegan, you're gonna comment on what Mr. Hessin just said?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I just found out to unmute my card.
Yes, Mr. Jackson, go ahead.
I support Mr. Finnegan 100% in whatever he's trying to do in the sector currently. What I am very much afraid of is when the secret meetings are being kept between members of the transport sector and some personnel, and they are not.
What kind of secret meeting are you talking about now?
Well, there are some meetings that were kept held in December, you know, which we still don't know what were the true objectives.
You mean secret meeting between who and who? Call name.
Between Mr. Newman, Mr. Styles, and the ministers.
Oh.
So
hold on now.
I am.
Go ahead.
Repeat.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying I am in full support of any action that Mr. Finnick is willing to take. Steve, I know him on a personal basis. We may not spoke in a while, but he knows me and I know him and I know where he stands. But we really don't know what's going to happen because most of the persons in the sector right now, owner operators, are pulling out. They canceling their road license and they're pulling out of the sector.
Mr. Finnegan?
Mr. Moderator.
Go ahead, sir.
If I could respond to Mr. Jackson on the matter of secret meetings.
Mm-hmm.
If you know me well, Mr. Tavares, I have never, in all my years, have a secret meeting with government. I always do the honorable thing. On the 15th of November, I call the One Voice group and the Jatu group to a meeting. This is the first meeting. I'm not good at memory, but first of 5 ministerial meetings.
With who?
With 5 ministers, maybe Mr. Finnegan can remind me, all ministers who we communicated with, Jatu, One Voice, and Tods.
So who is the ministers in the meet with?
Let me call in the name of the ministers. Minister Audley Shaw, Minister Floyd Green, Minister Chuck, and Minister Chang. I spoke with Minister of Information on the telephone on the 13th of November, just before I called a meeting to call a strike, and the strike was held on the 14th.
So the Minister of Information called over telephone and no strike?
Absolutely, sir. And I called the strike. Okay?
Hold on there. Hold on a minute. Hold on, Mr. Newman.
finish.
Hold on, Mr. Newman. I understand something here now. You're saying to me
Yes,
that Minister Robert Morgan spoke to you,
yes,
asking you not to have a strike?
absolutely, sir.
So,
But nothing
okay.
is wrong. But Mr. Tavares, hold on. I don't understand because nothing is wrong with that. You could have called me and asked me to have or not to have a strike. Anybody could do that.
So
But I
why
disagree.
didn't Mr. Newman, why didn't the minister call you and tell you
Yes.
that they're gonna wipe off the taxi driver's ticket? Dash away.
You're asking the wrong person.
No, I am asking the wrong person, yes, but the fact of the matter is,
yes,
they see
could
fit
know
to
his
call
mind.
you to tell you not to have a strike.
He have the right as any member of this country to call somebody and tell him not to do something. You can't. I mean, how could I know otherwise? I wrote the Prime Minister. Matter of fact, let me tell you something. Myself and Mr. Finnegan walk foot in the sun hut and take petition to 2 ministers. I did to 1, so it's 3 ministers. Myself and my vice president we drive to Jamaica House and we handle it on the Friday. On the Friday, hold on, sir. On the 11th, the Friday, the Friday at 12 o'clock, to the Prime Minister, of Jamaica, we took a letter to him to ask him for an amnesty. On the Sunday, at 3:45, the Minister of Information called me to say he heard that I was going to call a strike and asked him to have a consultation with them and not to have the strike. The strike held on Monday.
So why didn't the Prime Minister of this country say to you, why don't we all come together and have a meeting with the public transport sector?
The Minister of Transport, he is the person, he's my boss in terms of transportation. He called us for a meeting.
Everybody, all the public transport sector?
Listen, why would he call all the public transport operators to a meeting?
So why did he call only the presidents then?
Listen, the three groups have a strike. He called the leadership of the main group, which was Todd at the time, and I said, no, I'm not going alone. I called just one voice because they were involved in the strike. That's the right thing to do. And we outlined our concern to the minister. And he put us on we went to another overnight. And Mr. Finnegan can agree that we did overnight, 11 o'clock at night. I was talking to ministers. He commended me for what I've done because I want all of us to meet with the various ministers. Overnight, we didn't know we could talk to Chuck because Chuck was a man who planned to build prison to put us in. And within 15 minutes, he said, Mr. Newman, what time tomorrow morning early? And we all were there at his office for meeting. He did not promise us again give us an amnesty. No minister promised us that. They promised to continue discussion and that sort of thing. And they will see what they could do. So I don't understand personally that I've never had a secret meeting yet.
Mr. Newman. So all these discussion that all these ministers go sit down and chat and drink and lick champagne glass. All these discussion put it anywhere?
I don't know if I don't know what
all these discussion, Mr. Newman, put it anywhere?
Sir, where we are now, discussing things is where it put us. It put us right here. I wouldn't say back to square one, but here we are discussing it now.
So hold on, there was no secret meeting between you and no minister.
I just answer you, sir.
But I'm asking you again, Mr. Newman.
Absolutely none, sir. Any minister, they're on my platform. They can make reach on the platform. They can tell you, no, I have no time for that. If they come to a meeting now, I am sure I am going to call any group want to join me. They can. There are some groups that back out because they don't want to have meetings with their ministers. Right? We should have a committee for that. And one voice said no. They have to walk away. And they walk away and they have the right to do so.
Why did they walk away, Mr. Newman?
You'd have to ask one voice.
But you're the one who said they walk away?
Yes, but I don't know why they walk away. Maybe they don't understand what the various strategies we are using. It was an up their street.
Oh. Mr. Finnegan? Mr. Finnegan, unmute your mic and come in. We're speaking about transport this evening and the Mek Wi Talk. Mek Wi Talk transport.
The secret meeting.
Yes. You heard about in the secret meeting that was happening between Mr. Newman and the minister?
I am not sure whether it was ministers, but I'm going to tell you what came out.
Uh-huh.
Those meetings that Mr. Newman mentioned about those 4 government ministers, I am fully aware of them. I sat in those meetings. But on the 5th of December, we were told that there were 3 marathon meetings held with government officials on the 4th of December. The matter is going to be taken to cabinet on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be signed off on Tuesday, and there's going to be an announcement on Wednesday. Now, we refer to that meeting as a secret meeting because one is, we in the sector were not told about that meeting until Sunday when news broke out that One Voice was planning a withdrawal of service. We heard again of another meeting that
so
was
hold on, Mr. Finnegan. So
Yes.
that is the same time the Minister of Misinformation called Mr. Newman.
No, he would have called him before the 14th. The strike the 14th of November.
Oh, okay.
If he got a call the 4th of December, I'm not aware of it. But what I'm saying is that we didn't hear anything about that meeting until Sunday in the afternoon. That's the 5th of December.
Uh-huh.
There was another meeting held that the sector heard nothing about that meeting until a report came out, and the report says, we met with government officials. The train was derailed, but it is back on track. There's going to be an announcement in our favor. Give us a few days. I am speaking in parable. Whoever hear to hear will hear. Who have eyes to see will see. Now, I can't see how you go into a meeting with government official on behalf of the sector and come back out speaking in parable.
So who was speaking in parables?
This one was Mr. Styles, and the one before with the marathon meeting was Mr. Newman. On Thursday of this week, we heard of another meeting. We did not get
of
the
this
report.
week?
Yes, man.
So another secret meeting again?
Yesterday, after ACP Mackenzie spoke, Mr. Newman made a release that he met with government official the day before. And it was out of that meeting that would have caused the government of Jamaica to make the decision to send back the child seat issue
Back to Parliament.
back to the road safety unit for reconsideration. And that is going to be done on the 9th of February. So if the government didn't make that announcement yesterday, we wouldn't have known that they met with government officials the day before.
So hold on now. Mr. Newman, you met with government officials pertaining that is why the Prime Minister ended up making the announcement yesterday, sir? Mr. Newman? Is Mr. Newman still on this platform here? I see the name come up.
Well, the other thing, Mr. Tavares.
Go ahead.
Mr. Newman mentioned that the only thing we have gotten from government is a retrieve. There's no evidence before us that we have gotten any retrieve from the government of Jamaica. One is we did not ask the government for a retrieve. They decide to give us one, and it is highly and well accepted and appreciated by the public transportation sector, only to say we have not seen that reprieve. Because the reprieve would have allowed us not to lose our license if we pay by the 31st of January 2023. But leaders of the public transportation sector had joined with the government in delaying the process of passing the act that would make that reprieve law. And I don't find it coincident. I think it is deliberate that such act was dragged out to the extent that it was passed 3 days before the deadline. 2 of those days would have been Saturday and Sunday, where Parliament would not meet. So it was finally passed in the Senate on the Friday. Saturday and Sunday would have been break. Monday, it would have gone to the Governor General to sign off. And then it would become law on the 31st of January. And if you recall quite well, Mr. Jeffrey and others that are listening, the 31st of January, when the act become law, it would have been the day of the deadline for the reprieve. So in other words, we did not benefit from any reprieve. In fact, when the opposition spoke in Parliament, the opposition says the same day the act born, the same day it dead. And my understanding from the day I was born is that when something is dead, it's dead. You can't bring it back to life. Now,
so in other words, Mr. Finnegan, it's a possibility that they only came out with this announcement yesterday for a photo op. They're not doing one damn thing about it then.
Well, I am not going to be saying they're not going to do anything. My position is when we see it done, then we'll take it as gospel. We are not going to be fooled by all the other announcements and all the other press releases that we have heard. Now, the leader of government business in the Senate on Friday night, last Friday night, she said after the bill was passed, the act was passed, that those of us who have submit our printout but have not gone before the judge, we will not be beneficial from the reprieve. Remember now, based on the explanation of the day the law passed, is the day was a deadline, there wouldn't have been any reprieve. But let us use our word in the Senate. Those who have not gone before the judge, but your printout is in the court and you have a stamp on it, you will not be benefiting from the reprieve. The only thing is, those printouts that are in the court, no warrant will be issued for you. And what that means, members that are listening on, those that have lost their license already in the month of December to January, as of February 2, they can reapply for it, but it is go with a cost. They have to get a lawyer. And our consultation at One Voice, the fee to reapply for your suspended license is between 60,000 and 80,000, depending on the lawyer that you go to. Now, those who have not gone before the judge, even though it is not your fault, you have gone to get a court date, you have not gotten it. You put in your printout for them to search for your ticket, they stamp it and tell you they will call you. Whatever time you go before the court, you will not be beneficial from that so-called reprieve. So if your license is suspended, you can't reapply until the suspension expired. So in other words, the government give you a reprieve with one and take it back with the other one. And the leaders of the sector are coming out, batting on behalf of the government, giving the government thanks for something that they have not given to us. And I can't understand. It was when the 3 groups that Mr. Newman mentioned, One Voice, Tads, and Jatu, went to seek legal consultation together. Because on the 11th of January, we all glue ourselves to the television, to the radio station, on our YouTube channel and our phone, listening to Minister Chung reading what we thought was the bill taken to Parliament. All of us that were laymen and laywomen, listening it attentively. At the end of the day, they call him, Mr. Finnegan, is the bill passed? I tell them, no. Normally, after the bill is presented and debated on, they would have what is called press briefing. So let us listen if we hear anything in the news.
There was
Wednesday
no press briefing
morning,
at all.
huh?
There was no press briefing at all.
No, there was no press briefing. Wednesday morning, we searched all the media houses. Nothing came out. It was not until the three group went together for consultation. The lawyer advised us or informed us that what Mr. Chung was reading from wasn't any bill. It was a proposal, and proposal can be passed into law. The lawyer explained to us for a bill to be brought to Parliament, it has to be presented first, go to the upper and lower house,
And then
then debate, and that debate can take up to 3 months.
Yeah.
Again, the government of Jamaica tricked the sector, because when we met in the office of the Minister of Justice, he told us that the first sitting of Parliament, they will try to bring the bill before the House and have it passed. And we take that again as gospel, only to find out that what Minister Chang was reading was a proposal.
You know,
And the government of Jamaica, along with some leaders in the public transportation sector, continue to take the public transportation sector for a ride. And because none of us so far that I know of have any knowledge even in paralegal business, we believe our ministers, we believe our government, and continue to listen to these announcements. We were told by Honorable Delroy Chuck, ministers cannot give payment plan. Go to the court, work out a payment plan with the judge. Some of our operators run to court. I remember one young man tell the judge that he have $55,000 and the minister say he must come with it and get payment plan. It irritated the judge. The judge gave that young man the full length of the law, 55,000 worth of ticket, 173,000 was the fine, and he lost his license. 1 second, Mr. Jeffrey. The minister told us to go borrow money and go pay your ticket. Your license is gonna be saved, you're not gonna lose it, as long as you pay before the 31st. We have operators, 2 of them I personally know, went to borrow money, one borrow 80,000, one borrow 120,000, they lose their license. So we continue to follow the announcements of these honorable ministers. The press releases coming from the office of the Prime Minister, and only to go to court and are left at the mercy of the judges. And it was not until we seek legal consultation from a prominent lawyer in Jamaica, it was explained to us that no bill went to Parliament. Mr. Chang was reading a proposal, and the sector is continued to be fooled by this government.
Mr. Newman gone. You know, we sit down, you know, but before I go any further, Mr. Finnegan, let I read something to everybody that can listen, they can hear this. Taxi car seats law in Florida. Taxis are exempt from child passengers law in Florida. It is the responsibility of the parents to keep the child safe by using a protected system. There is no taxi in Florida nor in New York that I know of that have any car seat inside if you put it in. So I do not know. And that's why I'm asking the question, because it was brought to me that a container is at the wharf full of car seats, child car seats. Somebody in the politics bring it down. So they plan to make money off of the poor pauperizing bus and taxi drivers.
And Mr. Jeffrey, our research is showing that there are quite a number of first world countries, to include Europe and the United Kingdom, that exempt child seat from public passenger vehicles. Why is it our government insisting and applying first world laws to a third world country, a country that is not even yet on the road to be referred to as a developing country? Why are they forcing third world laws on us when those develop, not third world, first world laws, when those first world countries?
Mr. Finnegan, I'm losing you. Mr. Finnegan?
I can't remember now. So Jeffrey, I hear you talking about a container load of car seat.
Yes.
I don't.
We're losing them, Mr. Finnegan. There's a container at the wharf in Kingston. Coming from America. We're losing them, Mr. Finnegan. We're losing it. We're losing them, Mr. Finnegan. Mr. Finnegan? Mr. Finnegan.
Yes.
Repeat what you said a while ago. We lost it. Repeat what you said a while ago.
I am saying that I don't know if you can remember when the law was passed for taxis to be equipped with globe. That's the light that you put on top of the taxis. We weren't a country that was using globe. We don't manufacture globe. But within days of that law become effective, globe was flooded in this country.
That is why I'm asking the question this evening. Is it that somebody in government plan to make money off of the poor pauperizing bus and taxi drivers? Why they pushing this car seat down the people in throat? Yes, it was in the law from 20 war hit to 20 war hit. But the fact of the matter is, who plan to make money? Mr. Newman run gone. Because these secret meetings that keep on happening. And I'm Mr. Sena. Are the taxi and bus drivers, sister? Not me.
Well, there's no secret that the secret meetings were being kept, because it is the leaders who come out and tell me about those meetings after the fact. I have repeatedly asked, if you go into a meeting to represent an organization, how comes the result from the meeting is private? I don't understand it, and I'm trying to understand it over 11 months now, going into 12 months. And my position is, if I go into a meeting to represent the sector, I cannot represent no one else or anything else than the sector. And all of these draconian measures that the government of Jamaica is coming with, and the public transportation sector in particularly, the motoring public in general, leaders of the public transportation sector sit down and allow these draconian measures to be going unnoticed, unchecked, undiscussed. And now that the act is passed, they are coming now to haunt us. We have to be taking action now against something that should have been done many, many years ago. Now, when we talk about a sector that have been deprived of fare increase for 15 years, a sector that is coming through almost 3 years of COVID lockdown, a sector that was promised 25,000 gas voucher, and people apply for it and were told that they have no valid road license. And by the time they were able to prove that their license is valid, we hear that there's a cutoff date. The deadline has come. Now, how could an agency of the government of Jamaica give you a road license, and then the same government get the information from their agency and send you a text message or an email that your road license is not valid? They promise us after coming out of COVID that there is a 200 million revolving loan. And to this day, we can't get that money to borrow. But this
because,
is a very...
because Mr. Finikin, hold on, I can come in here. Because I'm not afraid for talking, I'm not afraid of nobody. Me not afraid of nobody nowhere. You see? We need some accounting in the country. Some forensic audit must be done. It's same when they promise the poor paupers in bus and taxi drivers in a COVID, how much thousand they don't get? $25,000. Who get the 25,000? Huh? Minister of Finance, where is the money? The money gone like Sammy Mouth. And the poor paupers in bus and taxi drivers. Before they come together, we have a bunch of president leaders, know. Who no mean no good?
The other issue I want to address that was said, Mr. Tavares and members listening on. That was said by the president that one voice was called to be a part of a committee and one voice walk away. And when the host asks, why did one voice walk away? Mr. Newman said, I don't know. The host must ask me. Well, when we walked away from the first meeting, it was on the basis that the committee members, in my opinion, based on what was presented before me, they were sympathizing with the government of Jamaica and sitting meeting not satisfactorily representing the public transportation sector. Now, one voice have 3 members up against the other 2 organizations with 3 members each, only that at every meeting, the membership of TADS increase. I can't say the same for JATU. Now, we were invited back to the meeting. In fact, I have gotten 4 telephone calls to come back to the bargaining table and 1 face-to-face conversation. And the last telephone call I got, Mr. Newman said to me, Mr. Finnegan, the one voice group is needed at the table. Government is not interested in speaking to individual groups. Immediately, I call one of the reps. I say, are you willing to go back to the committee? They asked Mr. Finnegan, are you going back? I hung up my phone. I didn't answer the rep. I asked the same question to the other one. He asked me the same question. I didn't answer him. I hung up my phone. One Love and Wildlife. I immediately sent a text message to President Newman and gave him the 3 names that will be the representative to the committee. Only to hear that I wrote a letter to the president begging to come back to the committee. No, the public need to know that I am publicly stating that the president of TADS spoke to me in person right at the elevator of Mr. Delroy Chowk office. As we get out of the elevator, I held onto my hand and said, we need you back at the bargaining table. I said, no, sir. When we met with Minister Green, while we sat at UTEC waiting on him, he called me out of the meeting and asked me again. I tell him, no, sir. I sat on his veranda and he asked me again. I tell him, no, sir. Only to hear them spreading a propaganda that one voice beg. That was the word that was used. Beg in a letter to come back. I have not written any letter to Mr. Newman or to the committee asking to return. However, based on those discussions, we went back to the bargaining table. And what caused us to move the second time, that Mr. Newman is saying that he don't know, is that I was told that I must hand over all the money collected from One Voice for legal fees, the name of my members that contributed on their phone number. And I refuse to do it. As far as I'm concerned, the member's name and phone number is their private, personal property. They would have
hold on, Mr. Finnegan, hold on. Hand over the money to where? Is there an account where it have 3-4 signatures on the account?
The information I have that I have publicly seek and ask is that one is the account have no name, and two is there's no signatory to it. And my response was, right downtown at the entrance of the lawyer office, in the presence of One Voice executive member, I asked the question, are you saying that the bank gone now into scamming? The bank is giving somebody an account with no signature? The person explained to me that the account is named Links Wallet. At the end of the explanation, I said, to do business at the bank, you need a TRN. If you furnish a TRN, you need an ID to match the TRN. If you furnish an ID, it must have a signature. So my question remains the same. Who are the signatories to the account? It don't use signatures. So I leave it at that. I was told that the following morning we will have a meeting at the committee level and discuss it. In that meeting, I stand my ground. I will not hand over any of One Voice money to go into a dummy account that nobody know what's the name of the account and who are the signatories to it. I will not. And I refuse to hand over One Voice members' name and telephone number. And Mr. Everton Styles, the chairman of the meeting, tell me that I am disingenuous, which the dictionary say is dishonest, and that I am a con man because I con One Voice members out of their money and only hand over a part of it. I just want to let the public...
Hold on a minute. There's some serious things here.
Yeah, man, it's serious.
The VP of Jatu tell you that you are dishonest?
Yeah, man. In the
so
presence
whose name is on the account?
We don't know up to today. Up to this day, we don't know. And
in the transport sector. Yeah.
And so
hold on, Mr. Finnegan. No wonder the government treating how they treating you. Because the government realized the sector is not organized.
And Mr. Jeffrey, what is happening now, you see? Those leaders has been stigmatizing the One Voice brand. They accuse us of inciting riot. They accuse us of planning to stone JUTC bus. They accuse us of bullying government, holding government hostage, and holding the country hostage. And when they spread these type of rumors and stigmatization, we start to look bad in the eyes of the public, the eyes of the media, and the eyes of government. The good thing is there is no evidence of any of the accusation that they are put across to us. And the public need to know that they are making these stigmatization and accusation of us because we simply refuse to put the hard-earned legal fee of our members into a dummy account that we don't know the name.
Me here so the account name. Me here so the account. Me can't talk. Me not afraid that nobody can sue me. And me have evidence. Them things I don't have evidence, I have evidence. I heard that the name of the account belongs to somebody in a Jatu. And him alone named the penny.
Our position, Mr. Jeffrey, is that if we're going to a lawyer and the lawyer charge 50,000, it must be split evenly. We operate under this principle at One Voice. I will now write to the executive, tell them that we need 15,000 for legal fee. The executive will authorize the director of finance to withdraw the fund. When it is turned over to me, I have to sign for it. When we went to one of our lawyers, the lawyer wrote the receipt in Lorraine Finnegan. I had to give her it back and tell her, no, write the receipt in One Voice Transportation Group. So we don't play around with the members' money. When I go to any consultation, because we have done 5 so far that the legal fund has paid for. And when we go for consultation, I immediately give our committee a report and I send them the receipt that comes from whichever lawyer we go to. So we operate a strict financial system in One Voice. As much as we are just new, we have members that, one second, we have members that don't have access to online banking. So we have to set up some persons to do collection on our behalf. And those people that are authorized to collect, when you give them your money, Mr. Jeffrey, they have to give a receipt. So we're not running a party shop around here.
Hold on, let me ask a question. There's a taxi driver on this thing here driving his car. But I want to ask, Steve Hessin, you there?
Jeff, I'm here.
What is your views on what you're hearing? You're here going on in the transport sector, where they're collecting money and there's no account? Dummy account?
Jeff, I'm in this system about 30 years now. And I see corruption war on the system long time while government look on us as one bunch of thief. And me always talk that the president, them is a set of thief. That is my view. Because most president is pay president, where people pay them money and then rob people money. When I hear about this account, I do my investigation. And when I run my investigation, it is Everton style in our account, Everton style alone.
What?
Yeah, so I asked the question, how can you have an account where it's 3 associations and a 1 person name in it? So the rest of people, them don't have no sense. The rest of people,
hold on there, Mr. Hessin. I heard it is his personal account.
The rest of people, them don't have an ID. The rest of people, them don't have a TRN, so I'm alone can take up in the account.
So hold on there now, Mr. Hessin. Before I go any further, may come back to Mr. Hessin. Mr. Finnegan, then we can go to the great-great-grandson of Paul Bogle who's online with us. Mr. Finnegan, how much did the lawyer charge?
Well, the one that the 3 group went to charged 25,000.
Hold on there. So if the lawyer charged 25,000, you never tell me how much you collect for One Voice. Just give me one little figure. How much you collect for One Voice, sir?
No, well, I can tell you at that time, we had collected $37,000 in our legal fund.
Right.
So I asked the executive for 8,000. So I took 8,000 to the consultation. So it was when I paid over my 8,000, I was told that I need to bring in everything that I had collected.
So if the lawyer charged $25,000, why the hell should I bring in everything?
Well, that is a question. Your guess is good as mine.
Steve Hessin?
Yes, boss.
We're live on the Mek Wi Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. Bang around going on in the transport sector with government and now with the president them. Steve, your views on this account again. You hear that it's 25,000 that's supposed to pay.
Yes,
Mr. Finnegan said he brought $8,000 to the table.
Yeah.
When everything done, the gentleman from Jatuse must bring in everything.
Yeah, because him alone have sense. I'm alone can count money. I'm alone have an account where money must put into.
Mr. Jeffrey, one of my members is saying, Mr. Finnegan, he said it on our platform, the platform that has 700 odd members. He said, Mr. Finnegan, if you did give over my name to them people anywhere in Jamaica, yes, I would have to fine you. Because you could never give out my information without my permission. That's what one member say. Another one say, if you did hand over with money, you have to find it out of your pocket and give it back. But I wouldn't be stupid to do any such thing.
We have with us here the chairman of the Crime Prevention Unit in St. Thomas. Am I saying it correctly? Sir Clark, he's a great-great-grandson of Paul Bogle. Has an interest in the transport sector. Sir Clark, how are you doing?
Not too bad, Mr. Tavares. How are you doing? Good evening.
I am doing good. What is your views on this account system here going on in the transport sector?
Banger!
The one small account.
All right, let me say it this way to answer your question. Mr. Essen beat me to the punch to say whose name was on the account and who is the signatory, which is Mr. Styles. Him name fit him for showing up style people. But at least if it's a new man, they ask him for the funds and put in an account. It have gone into either 1 or 2 or 3 accounts. But one of them is him and Mr. What's my name again? Pusey. His signatory on it. At least 2 people have been in that one. And it's a transport group.
Do you have proof that name you call have an account that has
Of course. Then
3 names on it?
Yeah, man. Then there's some money go from BCIC go to.
Oh, you mean the money that have the account that have a Central National Jamaica National Bank? With only Newman name and Pusey name in it.
Yeah. So I'm saying to you that is the modus operandi of those 2 geniuses, well, 3 geniuses that say they are part of the transportation sector. In my humble opinion, they're in it just for what they can gain personally. You know, I listened to a voice note today, hearing Mr. Styles poking fun at the One Voice group and I laugh after them about what they make flying for demonstration and how much time they plan demonstration and nobody not come. But the 14, both of them were doing the rounds trying to put themselves into the picture. Right? Remember, Edgerton Newman had a meeting 3 o'clock one Sunday at Halfway Tree Primary School. I think it's the last meeting he did. And nobody turned up more than the media. Because everybody was saying One Voice. You know what I mean? Why they're on a campaign to discredit the credibility and the credentials and the character of the One Voice group and Wildlife, Kenroy Williams and One Love and Mr. Finnegan, is that the spotlight have shifted from Styles at Jatu and it has shifted from Edgerton Newman. So for them to make themselves relevant, they come out with all kind of innuendos.
But hold on there for Mr. Clark. Steve Hessin, you can back me up on this or not. But the president for Jatu is an honorable man.
Yes, man. Very decent, man.
So how is it that the president of Jatu allowed this bangarang to be going on and Jatu dragging through the mud?
All right. The president of Jatu is not fully 100 like me here. So sometimes him overseas, sometimes him is here. So because him is not well, him leave everything, give Mr. Style. So Mr. Style just style the whole nation.
Jeffrey.
Yes, I am.
Jeffrey.
Hey, it's all in Steve, you know. Go ahead.
Jeffrey.
Yes.
Jeffrey.
I am hearing the man. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. What you have to understand, if you listen to the whole withdrawal of service, the 14th of, where was it? November or December? I remember. November. If you listen Mr. Styles' pronouncements, and if you listen to Mr. What's his name again? Mr. Barton, Louis Barton. It's 2 different parts of the spectrum they're talking from. Mr. Barton was giving you statistics and the reasons for certain things. You don't hear Styles say that our Styles is out and bash One Voice. And him and Newman act like.
Well, all of a sudden, Mr. Newman and Mr. Styles become such big buddies. Steve?
Jeffrey,
Yes.
years ago, I remember Mr. Barton said to me that Jatu and Todd must have a good relationship where we're supposed to go to meet and go see government and everything. Mr. Siles said to us that you never find NCB and Scotia having a meeting. NCB go to them own a meeting, Scotia go to them own a meeting. So when I hear that Mr. Style and Mr. Newman link up because of One Vice, because One Vice come and as people place, both of them link up. I asked Mr. Style, how NCB and Scotia now link up? Him say sometime NCB and Scotia have to work out a thing. Mr. Work out what? You tell me that NCB and Scotia cannot have certain meeting. So how it's having it now? I know him change the whole topic and tell me him so call me back. Yeah, man,
Mr. Clark, you're saying something, but we got cut off. Your thing went on mute. But I'm gonna say this to Mr. Finnegan. Mr. Finnegan, I'm gonna suggest something to you. I suggested to Mr. Styles, and he said Jatu can't take up that, but Jatu can't collect money though. One vex with me not care no. I don't care. Mr. Finnegan, I'm advising you tonight. Get a computer for the One Voice group. If you have to do it, you do it, sir. Get a copy of every single member of the One Voice group who went and paid their tickets. Put into a database on the computer. Because they have a system they call quick, oh God. I soon tell you the name. But just get a computer. If a Steve Hessen paying ticket at what date? The cashier name and the receipt number. Because I guarantee you all that the system that they have to pay the tickets, you know, come back over again, someone who don't pay a ticket. For them to milk on again. So I'm suggesting to the One Voice group tonight, because Jatu and doesn't listen to me. And I don't care if no one listen to me, nothing to me. But I am suggesting to the One Voice group, invest into a laptop computer, put all the receipts, all the members of the One Voice group who has paid their tickets, put a copy of it onto the computer. You keep your original copy, but it is in the database of the computer that Steve Hessen has paid his ticket on January whatever, or February whatever, the receipt number, the cashier name, the amount to pay. Because I guarantee you that the system that the government has will go down again and not pay nothing. So, Mr. Finnegan, I'm asking you, sir. You are the one who is in charge of the One Voice group, sir. Be a difference.
I'm going to be taking your advice, because the minister told us that the new system that comes out on the 11th between the 11th and the 12th of January is accurate. And we have tickets that have been paid just recently in January come back as unpaid on the system that is accurate. So I'll be taking your advice.
Mr. Clark? Christopher, you want to say something, sir? Because we're going to wrap up soon.
Jeffrey?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I guess we thought somebody called because they were calling me private number.
Who for can't touch now?
I don't know. What you say? On $5 million pay from BC, I see that I am entitled to a portion of it.
I know you alone.
You understand me? And a lot of people have still been unpaid, that millions of dollars have been collected by a particular president. Now,
All the man name Edgerton
the
Newman, who
president
people
has
want
been
to pay
charged
them.
for fraud. Well, on, man. That president has been charged for fraud. The other secretary and the accord have been charged for fraud and all kind of something. You understand me? Tell them don't trouble me. If they know what is good, pay who them owe and stop treat the sector, because all they do is rape the sector. One Voice group is the only group that has the true interest of the transport sector. And if you listen to what some of the things that they have done and all that they have accomplished in a very short period of time, it's the only voice that the sector had. And all these two other whims and lucky do is to badmouth them and try to create a bad light to them, and then come out and all them and minister in a dialogue. And when it come out, it's opposite of what they promise. And I'm appealing to everybody.
Then hold on there. Mr. Clark, you know here, sir, because Mr. Newman speak to some minister, why the Prime Minister come out yesterday and give the statement saying, no, go back up.
Yeah, man, you hear that? No, because me tell you why he can say that. Because him call them. He call the minister and tell the minister, say, the man never go strike because of the car seat, so no need to make one statement. Watch and see if it's a play around with the withdrawal of that now. Did you listen to the statement that the GSF released?
It is
that
conflicting.
To the officer to use discretion.
And it is to, listen to me. The Prime Minister said it's the Commissioner of Police who made the statement, you know. It wasn't the Commissioner of Police, it was the Gary McKenzie. Yet the Prime Minister in his presentation said that the Commissioner of Police made a statement, and it was the Commissioner of Police who made the statement. Steve Hassan?
Yes, boss.
What is your views? What should you say? Should we all do to correct the animosity in the transport sector? Because as far as I see it, every year is the same thing. No better bar, no better her in the PNP is the same thing. JLP is the same thing. No better bar, the same thing going on in the transport sector.
Number one, Jeff, we play too much politics in the transportation sector. And you know, years by years and repeating is same thing. The president, all the president, them, anywhere them can get them night dinner, them swing to that way. As Mr. Clark said, just get a call. But all the money what Mr. Clark I depend on him not getting a cent out of it. You hear me, Jeff? You're gone, Jeff, man. Hello? Yes, Jeff.
Steve, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Yeah, me I say Mr. Clark say him just get a phone call. And the $5 million why you and him supposed to get money out of, you can't get a cent out of it. So that $5 million into an account where it's a dopey account, one person name in it. It don't go in your account with 2 and 3 somebody. You go into your account with one person name in it.
Yeah.
And because of that, all these presidents them get up and them just rip off the poor taxi and busman them years by years. And it gets so annoying now, everybody find out that that is something what them do years by years. So for we to do the best thing, we need to, may I just say, revamp the transportation sector and then start all over. Because every year I see the same thing. Every year, people just rob out the money come up a big speech, say them get promise, and that promise never fulfilled. So the transportation sector always going to behind.
Mr. Finnegan?
Just want to respond to the question you asked, Steve. What you think need to be done? There's quite a number, but the main one that I have been approaching from last year, and I strongly believe that the investors within this sector need to be the leaders of the sector. Now, what I come in and find out is that the leaders, the people who come forward, including the president or One Voice, claiming that they are leading the public transportation sector, have no investment in it. And I've been asking those investors that I've been meeting with from last year and up to last week, why are you not sitting at the table with government, with private sector, with your very own investors, colleagues, and iron out the problem that you're all having and represent yourself? I met with some investors a week or so ago at the Pegasus Hotel, and I said to them that even though I am the one who called this meeting, why do you need to extend an invitation for me to sit in the meeting because I'm not an investor? And it is too long. Every time you hear a meeting called, it is stakeholders. Every time a meeting is called, I am meeting with stakeholders. My position, it should be the chain of command, investors, operators, stakeholders. Now, until the investors who are forking out these millions of dollars every time they have to buy a new vehicle, maintaining these vehicles, paying bank loans, and covering all the other overhead expenses, you cannot continue to have people who are self-appointed leaders representing you in the sector, because when they go to these meetings, representation of the sector is last on their list. It is never first. I remember saying to some leaders last year that when we go into a meeting, the minister come to represent the government. The minister come with his entourage, which is his personal assistant, his communication specialist, and in some case, somebody from his legal team. The media come to represent their various media houses. And we that go to represent the public transportation sector, sit there speaking on behalf of the government, sit there representing the government. I remember a particular meeting we went to, and we couldn't get a chance to say a word from the meeting start, and for the first 45 minutes, the director of the Island Traffic Authority sat under the arms of the minister and took over the meeting. It was a very old man, old elderly man. I met him for the first time. They say his name Mr. Cosley. Mr. Cosley has to get up on a point to order motion and took back the meeting so that all of us representatives that were there could have asked the minister our questions. The investors need to take over the role and start to lead from the front.
And those are the people Mr. Newman get up to give award to. He gave award to Canute here. And in the same breath, Canute here took the award from him. And because he not no investment in the sector, Canute here come out and say, by February 1st, you must pay on the ticket.
No, December 1.
December 1.
Yes, man. The police
So
coming
the
out.
question must be asked. Newman give the man award. Mr. Newman didn't give the late Mr. Jameson award. Or Mr. my good friend Libertads. He went and give a person of the Vumva Van, the Vumva V of society an award. So Libertads do not in the transport sector, Mr. Newman. Stevenson not in the transport sector. You're saying to me you couldn't see nobody in the transport sector to give an award to Mr. Newman more than Canute here when you want damn name? The sector gone, you know. The center cannot hold. Mayor and keep on the land. Mr. Clark, go ahead, sir. Oh, hold on here. Christopher had something to say. Go ahead, go ahead, Mr. Christopher. Christopher?
No, man, it was Mr. Newman. I want to speak to you, but he eventually run. So
Yeah, man, he run. If there was a minister of government and he won't go nowhere. But fire still think a cool breeze he run. Oh yes, he was
yeah,
here.
because I was gonna tell him that said, you know, coming very shortly, we're gonna have to replace him. That's what I was gonna tell him. Right? Because he's no use for the sector.
We didn't hear you, sir. Repeat what I didn't hear you.
No, I said I was gonna tell him that he's no good for the sector. Right? For all the time we want to give him award, for all the time he has spent in the sector. We want to give him an award. No, award of leave. Take him leave now. He's not good for the sector anymore. Because he's gonna say that he's in with government and he applaud government for doing the things that government do. And government is going to. We are not gonna stick to any promise anymore. Those are promises. So we're not gonna do it anymore.
You know,
so we are going to stand behind Mr. Finikin 100%. I mean, all about the transport sector.
You know something? Mr. Newman came on this platform here, on this thing here, and said he endorsed what the Prime Minister said. Mr. Finikin.
Yes, sir.
You said something in one of your presentation that they're spreading propaganda that on plan to stone JUTC bus. Mr. Newman went on public radio with it. You all know who started this rumor?
Yeah, we know.
Okay. You know, there's an old Jamaican saying, you know, sometimes we're good feet, no good for talk. But the fact of the matter is, do you all think Steve Hessen, Christopher, Mr. Jackson, June, and Mr. Finikin, one at a time, do you all think, Mr. Finikin first, do you all think that the government is really going to go to the drawing board pertaining to this car seat business? Or they just came out and just to keep it quiet because Newman tells them no government's right?
I can only answer this way, Mr. Tavares. We have gotten better promise than this since November now that have never been fulfilled. So it is going to be hard to tell you that we believe this one. We have to see it with our eyes in black and white, gazetted and passed. As it is now, we have no faith in it. And it is not that we can't trust our Prime Minister. It is just that all the promises from November until now are just promises.
Well,
they have never been fulfilled.
Me can't tell you no one thing. Me not trust no politician. None.
I'll tell you something that might have missed you, Sir Jeffrey. When we went to Parliament last week, there were 3 representatives from One Voice at Parliament. Well, 2 of us. And we listened attentively to the presentation by the minister. The 3 opposition were batting as hard as they can, in my estimate, for the public transportation sector. They were asking for amendment. They were asking for extension. The government ministers rule over them, fight them down, tell them that they are promoting disorder in the sector. And they went on. They heckle and they jekyll them. When they break, I saw something come out on that platform. Members, I like what I'm seeing. Things are going in the right direction. We are getting what we want.
What?
So I immediately responded to it. And I said, President Newman, where are you? I am in Parliament. And as far as I'm concerned, nothing is going in the right direction. We are not getting anything that we have asked for. The government ministers are up against us. The 3 opposition members are batting very hard. How could you tell the members that things is looking good, things going in the right direction, we're getting what we want? The Tuesday night, the conversation continued on his platform. And I got a message of Mr. Style addressing his members. And Mr. Styles' words were, squaddy. He referred to his members as squaddy. Squaddy.
Him a police.
What I am hearing is not looking good. The opposition was batting very hard for us. But the government members went to Parliament with their hammer and their nails, prepared to nail up the thing. So what we're gonna have to do is seek legal representation. I immediately forward Mr. Style's message to the platform and repost Mr. Newman's message. And I make a posting, members of the sector. These are 2 leaders in the sector, listening to the same clipping from Parliament, listening to the same radio station from Parliament, but 2 different pronunciations. It is for you now to make the decision. Who are the real leaders? I was instantly removed from the platform.
Hold on. Mr. Newman, kick you off too?
Yes, man, again, brother.
He kicked me off and he have already kicked me off. Because I never penny, you know. A banger when the penny.
And he has continued any one voice member that is over there or any members whatsoever that post anything from one voice, especially from Mr. Finnegan. He kicked them off. Surprisingly, day before yesterday, his chief advisor on security make a posting.
So who is the chief advisor on security for him?
Make a posting from my voice note, and he's still on the platform. Former, retired.
Oh, you mean SSP Radcliffe Lewis?
Yes, man.
Oh.
So over there now is
wasn't the same. That's why Radcliffe to come on my program now, because I wanted Radcliffe to come on tonight to ask him, where did he get the information that members of the public transport sector plan to stone JUTC, but he smelled the rat? The question must be asked, is the new Road Traffic Act affecting the JUTC too?
No. No, it is not.
Oh.
Nothing in the public transportation sector is affecting them. We can't tilt our cars, they can tilt theirs. We can't advertise anything on our cars, they can cover the entire bus, top, front, back, side with advertisement. We don't have anywhere to park. The JUTC have a bus park in every location within the KMTR. So they are operating at a different law. Everything is being provided for them. Nothing is being provided for the public transportation sector. And I've been saying to them, Jeffrey, in a very stern and strong way, how could the distributor and regulator of the sector issue so much license in the KMTR and have nowhere for them to park? One. Two is the KMTR is designed in a way where you can sit down or pick up passenger legally. Now, how do they call these citizens to be investing millions of dollars in the sector and do not have an environment that is conducive to their type of operation to operate in?
Mr. Finnegan.
And they have these strong leaders boasting that they have been representing the sector for 23 years and 20 years. And this is what our investors has to be investing in. Operators have to be operating in on a daily basis. Leave at the discretion of the police. And when they get to court, they are leave at the mercy of the court. And we have a government that is elected to govern not against the people, but for the people. And we're going to have to spend some time, Mr. Tavares, in discuss this road traffic act because the measures are draconians. And if you speak out against them, you are labeled as one anarchy on the road. I don't believe that stiffer penalties is what we need. What we need is once the law is passed, it must be enforced. Enforcement is the thing.
You know, Mr. Finnegan, before I go any further, I said something earlier on that I trust no politician. Let me rephrase something here. Very few politicians, and I can call names that if I want to, that I trust in the House of Parliament. Very few. And who want vex with me can vex. One of them I trust very much and respect very much is the former Minister of Transportation, Robert Bobby Montague. The opposition person on transport, Michael Phillips. And I can name and continue to name who I trust. But the other side, I don't trust them. But you know something, Mr. Finnegan? You touched on some very important things a while ago. And if the public transport sector don't stand up, I have been asking for how long for a car park for the taxi drivers in Halfway Tree. The old housing ministry was a sore in the heart of Halfway Tree. Same way they can give it to their friends and cronies. They give half of the parking lot to JIS. They give one to Delray Truck sub office. And then they give a part of it to one of their cronies to put a car mall. Why can't they give that parking that build that entire area there for bus and taxis, the bus in that goes to Portmore, taxis that goes to Papine, Ligani, wherever they go to. Why can't they do that? No, because we're nothing. And I'm saying tonight to every single bus and taxi operators in this country, let this be a warning to all of you of what this government is doing. That when election time come around, you all know what to do. Let this be a warning to you all. That when election time come around, you all know what to do. The last contention they have at Arena, ICJ, UTC bus with people on top of it. I don't hear Desmond McKenzie say anything, but yet in take on, you want to take on Michael Phillips in a parliament. That Michael Phillips is agreeing with the lawlessness on the road. And I don't hear Desmond McKenzie speak until this blessed day about the people on the JUTC bus coming in from the country for the Labour Party conference. You see? I don't hear. Gary McKenzie came out and speak about it. My fellow bus and taxi operators, my fellow Jamaicans, wake up. Wake up. This government is behaving like a totalitarian government. And the last time I checked, Jamaica is a totalitarian country. We're a democracy. Jamaica is a democracy. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, if you really mean the people and you say you love poor people, when Portia Simpson Miller was leaving Parliament, her final speech to Parliament, you, Prime Minister Holness, look at Portia Simpson Miller and said that, don't worry, you're leaving in these capable hands because I'm a I am a defender of poor people. You remember those speeches, Mr. Holness? Why are you people hell-bent on bringing down the taxi group in this country, the transport sector in this country? Why? Why are you hell-bent in putting in that they must have baby seat in their cars? Is a member of parliament or minister of government have a container at the wharf with baby seats in it to sell to the poor, pauperizing bus and taxi drivers, Prime Minister Holness? That is why you all hell-bent on doing it. Delroy Truck, who owned the car mart and taxpayers' property in Halfway Tree? Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who owned that car mart, sir? Why you all can't give it to the poor, pauperizing bus and taxi drivers? What do you plan to do? Sell the whole country out and sell us one by one? What is going on in this country? Want to sell us back? Want to sell us to the Chinese already? How much you want to sell us to the Chinese for? Because right now the Chinese are involved in the SSL saga. A Canadian citizen went and get a company to investigate, and some deep thing that we dig into. Chinese are involved in the SSL saga. So you know that needs to know? International scrutiny. What is going on in Jamaica? The land of our birth. Huh? Prime Minister, you swore to the people of this country that you will protect and defend the Constitution of Jamaica. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, stop like poor people here water upon you. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, go back to the drawing board. Stop like poor people here water upon you. The people of this country are sick and tired and fed up of the political nonsense in this country. And what's going on with? Uno milking the transport sector. I hope how much bill and uno collect now, you know. I hope uno fix the road them. I hope the billions of dollars uno collect off of the poor paupers and bus and taxi drivers. Uno fix road and fix KPH. There's so much corruption going on in this country. And you told the people of this country that you will be a transparent government. Jamaicans, wake up. I am not betting for no party in this country like some journalists who have a political agenda. I am a Jamaican and I'm betting for this country. The two political parties has failed the people of this country miserably. Jamaica come first for me, no political party. And the time has come, Jamaicans, to stop this PNP and JLP bangarang and think about this little rock. This little rock we call home. Where look at that on the map? Where look at that on the globe? Everywhere I go in the world, people asking about Jamaica. Do not let this country become like Haiti. We're knocking behind Haiti's back door. My fellow Jamaicans, I'm begging you, let us come together and rally around a single cause and a single purpose. And stand up for this little piece of rock. Because if we don't stand up for Jamaica, who will? Who will stand up for this little rock? We are the people. We are the government. Stand up for Jamaica. Brotherhood and peace. Stand up for this country, Jamaicans. My black brothers and sisters, stand up. Fight for this country. Jamaica is going on a slippery slope. Where is this country going if we don't stand up for it? I never dreamed that this country will be where this country is. The police are not getting any pay. Police going on with only $70,000 a month. Not even $80,000. Police are only getting $500 US a month. Huh? 500 US a month. And yet they get billions and billions and billions of dollars to fight crime in this country. They can write off their friends who own radio station taxes. Why couldn't they write off the poor pauperizing bus and taxi drivers' tickets? They can write off their friends who own big companies. Why couldn't they write off the poor pauperizing bus and taxi drivers' tickets? They knew the system has a glitch from in the 1990s until now. No. In no other modern democracy can this nonsense happen in Jamaica, where they thief from the poor people and give to the rich. Jamaica and Jamaicans, my fellow Jamaicans, my fellow black brothers and sisters who drive taxi and bus, stop this PNP and JLP bangarang and wake up. Stand up. Fight for this country. Because if we don't fight for Jamaica, no one else will. There are very few politicians in the House of Parliament who will stand up for this country. Do you think that if a war should break out in Jamaica right now, do you think they'll stand up for this country? Like how the president of Ukraine stand up for Ukraine? Some of them run gone. How on earth can you put in a law? Yes, a country has to abide by rules and regulations and laws. I agree. We have to. And I'm not saying that some of these taxi drivers don't drive lawless, same as the private people them who drive their Prado and Range Rover and their Mark X. They drive nasty, not only the bus and taxi operators. So why are you all Ben Hell, and bringing down the transport sector, Prime Minister Holness? Why? Why? Why can't you just say, write it off? You all write off on the friends and cronies taxes who own big companies. So why couldn't you all write it off? You know that the ticketing system has a glitch in it. It keep on coming back when you pay when you pay. You all know it. What kind of heart do you have? What kind of heart do you have for the people of this country who put you there? Who vote for you? What kind of heart? My God Almighty. What kind of heart do you have for the people of this country? Every 5 round come on the chat that kind of shit to us. That kind of nonsense to talk to us. When? When will we have a government of the people, for the people, and by the people in this country? When are we going to have a government of the people, for the people, and by the people in this country? When? Jamaicans, the time is now. The time has come for us to stand up. Stand up and speak out. Stand up and help our black brothers and sisters in this country. When we were born, we wasn't born a PNP or a JLP. We were born as Jamaicans. The last time I checked, Labour pain bring us here. Not PNP, nor JLP, nor aeroplane. Labour pain bring us here in this country. My God, when are we going to sit down and come together as a group of people, as a nation, and say to this government, this heartless government, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I never know that this will be how the Labour Party would have put us. I never know that they will be so heartless to the people of this country. Our founding fathers must be rolling in their grave for the poor, less fortunate people of this country. I do not know if we do not stand up for this country. I'm going to say this again. A lot of people are going to say to me, Jeffrey, stop saying it. Jamaica is knocking behind Haiti's back door. You see this SSL issue? This SSL issue is an eye opener to a lot of us. And I pray and hope that the investigation of SSL will go deep and deep and deep. Because you think it's only SSL that they need to investigate? They need to investigate the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Labor with the PART program money. They need to investigate that also. Too much corruption. Too much corruption in this country. That's why the crime cannot stop. Is the lower man always get caught with corruption? And the people of the Vum Vavan, the Vum Vavi, never get caught. I hope that this SSL saga will get someone from the Vum Vavan, the Vum Vavi, go to prison for a long time. And I pray and hope that all those people who lose their money will get back their money. It's not only Hussein Bolt alone lose money. A lot of people lose money. A lot of people lose money. My God. My heart bleeds for my country. My heart bleeds for my fellow Jamaicans. My heart bleeds every day to hear how this heartless, non-caring government doing to the people of this country. You're milking. You take away the man tool of trade. The labor law said don't take away the man tool of trade. And some of these poor pauperizing bus and taxi drivers went and borrowed money to pay off their tickets, where some of them pay for the tickets and they come back saying no pay for. And Andrew Holness have the heart, him and Delroy Chuck and the minister in national security, injustice. The Minister of National Security and Injustice. To say to them, let us write it off. But then Rachel said, no, I was going to borrow money. And who killed Dudus? Who ordered the killing of Dudus? We soon hear. Not Dudus. Who ordered the killing of Keith Clark? Not Dudus. Who ordered the killing of Keith Clark? Dudus so-called accountants. Who ordered the two corporate and the private of the JDF to kill Keith Clark in a house in 2010? Only think that now gonna come out? It soon come out. Corruption in the land agency. As soon done with this program with talking transport, I got to talk something here now. Some people own land in a St. Thomas. Who give them title for the land? Who give them land in a St. Thomas? Farmer politician own land in a St. Thomas. When get title from own land? Hello. On see the land place in a Kingston there? We deal with title, some corruption that go on down there, you see? I don't ready for yet. They take people land. And they give bogus title to other people of the vumbavan, the vumbavi. Hello, I say God is gonna put on a rat pound, you see? Almighty gonna put on a rat pound, you see? You continue to trouble poor people. My fellow bus and taxi operators, wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Election around the corner. Wake up. Our final words this evening. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. Mek Wi Talk, Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Final word from Mr. Clark, Reverend Finnegan, and my good friend Steve Hessin. Go ahead, Mr. Clark.
Yeah, Jeffrey, there's a question I wanted to ask in my wrapping up. Has anybody fully read the Road Traffic Act? I have not seen all of it, but I'm hearing that persons that travel out of the mountains and the valleys with ground provision going to Coronation Market on the market truck, that they are not permitted, they have to take another vehicle except the market truck or pickup truck. Can somebody verify that? If that is the reason, if it is so, it's going to have a major impact on our food supply. Because some persons, that's the only vehicle will come to where they are. They have to walk miles.
You know, Mr. Clark, sometimes I wonder these people who formulate laws in Jamaica. If when they go to them bed and then near my nigga right, he step them. And they go sleep and wake up. Bruce go didn't tell somebody the pain piece of try to make them out them brain. But Papa Bruce, try to make them out Andrew Honest brain. And all of them who formulate the new Road Traffic Act. Come Tuesday morning, I think I'm gonna have Miss Diane Dennis to come on and the Mek Wi Talk program on Roots 96.1 FM to dig deeper in the new Road Traffic Act, because some of I don't understand, we can have subsection this and subsection that and subsection tira. They soon cost bad word. Mr. Finnegan, your final word before we go, sir. Mr. Finnegan? Steve Hessin, your final word.
Yeah, man.
Jeff.
Hold on for me, Steve. Mr. Hessin, your final word.
Yes, Jeff. You know, what me like you have a program like this, like Saturday evening and Sunday evening. Let us try to go through the new traffic.
I am thinking seriously about it, you know.
And make we try to see if we can get some lawyer or somebody who can carry through it, because a lot of it we don't understand, and we as I say, subdivide and subsection and sub this. We don't know about it. Some don't know if you can find somebody who can carry.
I'm gonna organize. I'm gonna speak to Diane Dennis, because Diane has a lot of information about the new Road Traffic Act. Because
she was a part of the Road Traffic Act when it was farming.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Diane, because
but we don't want somebody with more experience.
Yes,
like some lawyer or something, like on a Sunday evening where them can carry through tick for tat.
Well, I'm gonna find out if I can get a person who knows about the Road Traffic Act, a lawyer, and see if they can come on, because you're so correct. We need some more, because the minister of misinformation, Robert Morgan, saying that, you know, there was some educational thing going on. The only thing to educate the people about is needs. But when it come on to the poor pauper and bus and taxi drivers, you don't educate them.
Me hear Mr. Newman say tomorrow they want to start on education drive.
Him nobody that code.
Wow, the mother.
Newman nobody what the word code. Have Mr. Newman read the new word code I call now?
He must have Mistress more on those people. Ah, my dear sir. You see, may I tell you, sometimes it hurts, but so you go.
You know what hurt me, Steve? What really hurt me? Politics has messed up this country. Politics has mashed up from Negril Point to Moran Point this country. Corruption stink to the highest heaven. The Parliament of Jamaica stink with corruption. Jamaica House stink with corruption. The GG him stink with corruption. The country is going down a path where we don't want it to go. Reverend Finnegan, your final word before we go, sir.
Investors that are in the hearing of my voice, it is full time you all come together as investors, whether investors in the bus or taxis, meet around the table and put a representational organization together. It is full time we have a president, secretary, treasurer, vice president, vice presidencies that are drawn from the investor sector within the public transportation sector. And in closing, want the public to know that the One Voice group in which I am presently the president, the only president in Jamaica that has been appointed by the public transportation sector. I am proud to lift my hand to that I did not take it upon myself. Investors and operators come together and sees it fit to appoint me for 6 months to serve in that position. All the other presidents that we hear of are self-appointed. And I want to say on behalf of in defense of the One Voice group, we are not involved, we are not engaged, and we do not support, defend, or condone any act of violence, any destruction of public or private property. Whenever we call for a withdrawal of service or a protest, we have instructed our operators to do so in the confine of the law. And they have already known that our zone managers, zone supervisors, and zone coordinators are instructed that if it's even their brother step out of the law during any withdrawal of service or protest or in any ordinary gathering, they must be reported to me or the disciplinary committee immediately so that they can be reported to the police. They know it quite well. It is being publicized on our platform throughout every day. We do not condone any act of violence, any incitement of violence, any plan to destroy government or private property. The One Voice Transportation Group at all time will operate within the confine of the laws of Jamaica.
Mr. Clark, your final word, sir.
Yes, so Tavares, I want to piggyback on Mr. Finnegan's final words. I can attest that they have always asked for persons to act within the confines of the law. But you'll always hear persons trying to implicate the One Voice group negatively. And I heard some pronouncements since the forming of One Voice on other platforms, and it's very disturbing and hypocritical at times, because when they need the One Voice group for backing, they hug them up, and when they don't need them no more, they run them. But I'm here to tell the public transportation sector, it's full time that they open their eyes and see who is standing up for all this oppression, all that the system and the government is doing in all their agencies. It's targeting the taxi man. And I heard Mr. Tavares said that the law say must not take a man's tool of trade. And I realized that they don't mess with uptown. They only mess with downtown. They mess with the man who are actual partner for survive, not the man that have the big bank accounts. And it's very disheartening to know that this is what Jamaica has come to, where there's still a mental slavery, where there's still an oppression of our own Black people. What is even more disheartening is that we have a government of the people of the day. And it is the same very government that is oppressing us, just as when Queen Victoria and England used to have us in slavery. How do we turn to a Jamaica that we ought to have? It takes the people. It takes the people to wake up and to stand up and demonstrate their disgust at the polls. Don't elect a man because he give you a 5,000 or a 50,000. If a PMP come with money, run them. If a GLP come, run them. If a UIC come, run them. If an independent candidate come and give you money, run them. Vote on your conscience. Vote for who you think will do a better job, will do a job that represents the people. I am saying, don't vote on color, don't vote on because of what you're getting. Vote for what your community needs. Vote for what your parish needs. Vote for what your country needs. And this country, Jamaica, needs a change. It is full time that we change from what politics has evolved to, where the man that needs a representation of an MP or a councillor is the same MP and councillor victimizing them by formulating laws that oppress them even further. And I call the fellow Jamaicans, my fellow transportation brethren, we not open our eye and see which group really defends you. And I end that by saying, Eternal Father, bless our land. Guide us with your mighty hand. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Clark from St. Thomas, the great-great-grandson of the late Paul Bogle, who led a rebellion. See, we're going to lead a rebellion in this country soon. But anyway, we are at a stale point in this country. Stale point in this country. You know, I'm going to end my program this evening as the great, as Paul Bogle,
Jeffrey,
yes.
sorry to interrupt you, but it would be interesting to hear from the other participants on the panel. If he's in a final word,
Well, I asked questions and nobody answer.
you know, I don't like to be on a program and somebody only listening and not saying.
Mr. Jackson, your final word, sir? Mr. Jackson? Okay, I have to run. Steve, give me your final word before we go, Steve Hessin.
My final word is to let us pray for a better transportation sector, and let us try to put all hands on deck to see if we can come with a better solution. We have problem, we need to find a solution. So I would like everybody put hands on deck and see if we can come up with some solution. Okay, boss.
Before God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind, the strength and vigor of my body in service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace, to work diligently and creatively, to think generously and honestly, so that Jamaica may under God increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. Jamaicans, both home and abroad, let us pray for this little rock of ours. Let us continue to fight for this rock. Let us continue to demand the government of the people, for the people, and by the people, not a government of the favorite few. A government that can provide security, a government that can provide health care, and a government who truly cares. For all those whose cares has been our cause, the work goes on, the cause endure, the hope still lives, and the dream for a better Jamaica shall never die. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Mek Wi Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. May God bless you. And may God bless Jamaica land we love. I end with this song.
My Highland don't salute. My Highland don't salute. Please don't salute. My Highland don't salute. Remember your teachers, them now. Remember your nurses, them now. Remember your doctors, them now. My Highland don't salute. No, 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 no. My Highland don't salute. Please don't salute. Remember your farmers, them now. Remember your workers, them now. Remember your neighbors, them now. My Highland don't salute. Please don't salute. My Highland don't salute. Remember your people, them now. Remember the message. I'm a soldier of His Majesty. So therefore, I can see my Highland don't sell out. Please don't sell out.
Thank you all for coming on. Thank you all for joining us this evening in a special Mek Wi Talk program, Mek Wi Talk Transport. I do not own the copyrights to this song, but please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Mek Wi Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. Have a good night until you hear my voice again. Good night.